The prolonged winter this year repeatedly delayed our outdoor adventures, so by mid-March, we were long overdue for an overnight retreat in nature. With 2 camping trips to the Grand Canyon already under our belt, we decided to close out the month of March in what we thought was the onset of spring with another visit.
Wow.
For this trip, we booked a spot at the often sold-out Mather Campground for a chance to enjoy some bike riding through the canyon's surrounding forest. While we had initially anticipated a camping trip in the mid-40s, it was apparent that this trip was actually going to be in 20 and 30-degree weather. Regardless, we were set on enjoying the chance at seeing the Grand Canyon with some snow on it, and ordered the insulation add-on for our tent, grabbed some extra base layers from REI, and purchased an Ignik fire can, all with the hopes that it would be enough to keep us warm. It wasn't until we reached the outskirts of the Kaibab National Forest that we quickly realized the snow we were expecting was significantly more than a dusting. As we set up camp, we continuously would look out on the snowy forest around us and laugh at how crazy of a setting this was to be camping in. After enjoying a little lunch, we grabbed our bikes and more warm layers and took to the trails.
This is really cool.
This was such an incredible experience. Deep breaths of cold air hitting our lungs, a snowy landscape surrounding us, and empty tree-lined trails. Well, empty with the exception of the giant ravens. Despite the cold, I could not help but smile. For the next hour and a half, we wound our way through snow-lined pathways leading from the campground, across to the visitor center, down to the village, and with a missed turn on the way back, we even found ourselves at the edge of the trail overlooking the canyon's rim.
Yeah, that's not too bad of a view to come up on.
Standing in complete stillness at the edge of the canyon, this time topped with gleaming crystals of snow smooth as glass over the canyon's rim, I basked in the realization that we did it again. In that moment, we had the pleasure to once again see something so significantly breathtaking and had the privilege to experience it in a whole new way. Once back at camp, we took a seat by our new firebox to enjoy by far the coldest happy hour we have shared, before packing down the snow at our feet, scraping ice off the end of the picnic table, and cooked dinner in the last bits of daylight in the winter wonderland. During the night, the temperatures dipped down to 23 degrees, but the combination of our base layers, the tent insulation layer, sleeping pads, and our additional gear, we slept pretty comfortably and without much notice to the cold. When we woke up in the morning, the thermostat was reading at 26 degrees.
Nice and cozy in the tent. And good morning.
Because of the cold, we decided to pack up early and head to the visitor center for a warm breakfast. As we broke down camp, we started to find evidence of just how cold it actually was during the night.
So it does get a little cold inside. We have little icicles. And then inside the roof here is ice.
Before heading to the visitor center, we discussed whether we'd do this all over again or not. And while we decided that the low 20s is a bit much, we agreed that with stronger base layers, a few hand warmers, and our snow boots, a snowy camping trip wouldn't be completely off the table for a future option.
I know, it doesn't stand at all.
After enjoying a warm breakfast in the sunlight and a little entertainment by a raven, we wrapped up our morning with a 2.5-mile walk along the rim trail, taking in all the visible slivers of snow and ice that line the landscape around us, and staring in awe of the enormity and depths of the canyon below us. There's no doubt the cold was a new challenge for this trip. It pushed some of our gear to the limits, and even tested some of our own personal limits. But all I can say is I don't regret a thing. While we could have canceled our trip at the first forecast of snow, or rescheduled it for later in the year, all I think is what an incredible experience we would have missed.